Hello, welcome back, everyone. And let's start by going straight into the superpower state. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. So by repeating your word or phrase, or using your anchor, or by homing in on everything you love about your subject, everything you love and appreciate about your subject. And start to feel your heart opening, that expansion feeling in your chest. And allow that light, that energy to shine out from your heart. And now allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Very, very good. And now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each little cell just for existing. Very good. And now allow that light, that energy to fill the little you, yourself as a child, any age. Loving that little you exactly as they are. No expectations. Very good. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from that little you and fill your whole childhood. Shining that light into any darkness. Loving everything, everyone, every circumstance, every event, exactly as it is. Feeling that power as you shine that light. Good job. Now allow that light, that energy to fill everyone on the call today. All those who are on camera, all those who are off camera today. Love each one just for existing. And allow yourself to receive the love from everyone else. Very good job. All right, you can open your eyes if you haven't closed. And let's check in with each person. So first up on my screen here is Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hello, everyone. Hello. How exciting. Well, I missed you all last week on camera, but I've listened to everything.
Good.
After new notebooks, because I have filled up so many notebooks with the wealth of material. It was an amazing week. It just got better and better.
Yay. That's great to hear. Good job.
Okay. And I haven't got anything on my head. I'm sure Lisa will, Magic Monday or something, but I have got a superpower ball, a power ball.
Lovely. Very good.
It's to help my my wobbly wrists, or my not very good wrists.
Excellent.
Oh, and Amy, the work you did with Amy's query about not following the health program that she knows is good for her.
Yes.
And my query with you a few weeks ago about alcohol in the evening. So I'm drinking tonic and apple juice at the moment.
Very nice. And how is that?
Nice. It's delicious, actually.
Good job. Well done, Chris.
But I've got questions as well.
Yes.
So you were speaking just before we came on camera, before recording, about the allowing technique that Steve and you are developing. So I've been using some of the questions that you suggested with my inner chatter.
Yes.
And I took it came on my walk with me. It always comes on my walk, comes with me all the time. So I asked it, what do you want? What do you want to say? What can I do for you? Oh no, it said something. It was so good. It was so good. Well, it said lots of wonderful things. It said, "Don't push me away. Don't put me on a shelf. I just want to be your friend. I want to be with you. I want to spend time with you." Ah! Anyway, are there any other questions, or can you develop it for me a little more? Perhaps?
Yes, of course. I'm actually going to hand it over to Steve because this is his kind of pioneering technique that I know he's still developing with clients. So, Steve, anything you can add to what Chris is doing?
No, I think that yeah, and I kind of trying to come back to a little bit of that conversation we were having off camera before we started the session today, but the starting point is first practicing and allowing yourself to step into taking one step into your superpower state. I have been saying taking a step back, which sort of feels like what we're normally and naturally doing with things that those negative feelings, negative thoughts, negative physical sensations that we're having, we're automatically trying to pull away from them. So I'm trying to find different language that allows us to remind ourselves to step into our superpower state. So stepping into your superpower state is stepping out of the belief that I am whatever I'm experiencing right now. I am the negative thoughts. I am the negative feelings. I am the negative physical sensations. So taking a step into your superpower state and reminding yourself that that's my true nature. Unconditional love is my true nature. Then being it from that vantage point, can you then be in the place of unconditional love and allowing of whatever is present right now in the moment? So for you, it would be the chatter. So going back to just allowing, just being there with the chatter, and everything that you said would be, I would say, is right on with that. You know, being developing that relationship, seeing that entity, allowing that entity to be. You know, so right now we're using the cognitive mind to try to analyze whatever that feeling is. So we say the chatter.
Yeah.
But that's not really what's going on, because there's a feeling there when you think about the chatter. What's wrong with the chatter? Well, there's a feeling there underneath that someplace. So if you can drop down into whatever that feeling is and just be with the feeling, and feelings can only be felt. When we start to get into words, then we're jumping back into the cognitive mind. So if you can just allow yourself to be with whatever that feeling is, and then develop that relationship with the feeling, trying not to push it away, maybe expressing feeling or just apologizing that you've spent your entire life trying to push this feeling away, or you've tried to ignore it or deny it. Asking it, or imagining if that feeling in itself, if that entity, if you can imagine that feeling in front of you, what would it be experiencing?
Oh, yeah.
What feelings would it be having right now? If you can sort of equate that feeling, that entity, whatever it is, if you could imagine it being a small child in front of you, what do you think it would be experiencing?
Nice.
And then asking, what one little thing could I do right now to help you feel better? And then imagining yourself doing that. It may be that it needs a hug. For you, it needed just to be heard. Don't push me away. Don't whatever you said those wonderful words there of what it was saying to you. Allowing it, so I think that it's another way. It's a subtle, not a subtler way. I think it's another way of doing an in-time do justice technique to the feeling that is there right now. So you're giving that feeling voice. But you're
Yeah.
doing it from the place of your superpower. You're doing it from the place of, I am not the feeling. I am experiencing the feeling. I'm allowing the feeling to be there, but that's not me. It's not my true nature. Does that help a little bit?
A lot.
Okay.
A lot. Oh, well. Yeah, I nearly filled another book while you've been right saying. There you go. Wow.
I know a book may be coming at some point, but that, right now it's, I'm still in that place of developing the words around it too. So because it is a little slippery in that you're dealing with feeling as opposed to a cognitive thought or a cognitive learning.
I think Chris meant that she's nearly filled another notebook.
I nearly filled another notebook.
But you're right. We will work on a book as well.
Yeah.
Steve, I love what you've said there. There's some very powerful stuff there that I think would be worth, taking and writing down somewhere, because some of that stuff you just said was really, really good. And I wanted to add to what Steve said, for those who know if you're practicing it, it. So, or Ho'oponopono. So for anyone who's familiar with Ho'oponopono, you can use that as well with this feeling. All right. Oh, with this technique, as part of this technique. Fantastic. Thank you, Steve.
So, Chris, was there more questions around that?
No. That's pretty well. There's lots for me to work on. Thank you. So I can't wait for the development, and I can't wait for the book.
Me too. It would be really helpful.
Yeah, and it would be really interesting to hear what you say to what you discussed with Katrina in a minute. So
very good.
The next book will be started. Thank you.
Good job. Very good. All right. Thank you, Chris. And thank you, Steve. And Lisa, you're next up on my screen. How are you today?
Oh, great. It's Magnificent Monday. Magical too. Okay. So when I was listening to, it was you that was speaking to Swasti on Friday, correct? With doing this process?
Yes.
Well, I was doing it along with you. And then I had, what's really, really powerful, because I started seeing my mom's energy outside, like in a black blob. And I was like, whoa, okay. And then she said, I want you to suffer like I did. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So there's a lot of family stuff. So anyway, I was like, okay. So I sent her love. And then when I did, it felt so much better, that relief, that release, that heaviness went away. One thing that happened though after is, I felt like I kept getting memories that surfaced.
Yes.
And so then I sent love to that. I was like, wow, this is so liberating. So anyway, I kept hearing, this is like a personal love code of success in all areas of your life. So a personal code, which is amazing to me. And so it's how we feel. This is from your book, the Superpower book. And so, yeah, you need to make an extension or something.
I need to update it, yeah.
How we feel is an indication of how we're vibrating. So it's really important to pay attention first thing in the morning, and like send yourself love as soon as you wake up. Draw hearts on yourself, put hearts on your ceiling, do whatever it takes to get in that state instantly,
Yes.
Instead of thinking of your problems right away, think about love right away.
That's it. And one of the easiest ways to do that, because not everyone is comfortable with love yet, because as we grow, as we experience life, many of us are, love is conditioned out of us, especially love for yourself, because of, everybody around you is uncomfortable with it. And there's, everybody's in survival. Most people are in survival state. So the concept of love, very often, I know definitely for me, the way I grew up, is considered, cringy and wishy-washy, and you don't want to, it's like, don't be ridiculous. And there was a disgust, in fact, for for love in general, but especially love for yourself. So for those who still have those programs, still have that going on, the easiest way to do it is, as soon as you're aware, you're awake. And before you even open your eyes, if possible, but it doesn't matter if you've already opened your eyes, think of your favorite color and imagine being surrounded by that color. That can be an easier stepping stone to feeling good without the, if you can't do the hearts and that, because that's fantastic for those who can. Those who can't, start with your color, your favorite color, and just allow yourself to imagine being surrounded by that color. Notice how it feels, how that color feels. And then if you're able to go to the love, that's great. If not, that's okay. At least start with the color. So thank you so much, Lisa, because that's going to be very helpful for a lot of people, I know.
Yeah, very powerful process you have. So it's very important too. And it makes me feel really empowered too by listening to you guys. So I'm very happy with it. Thank you so much.
Yay, you're very welcome.
Blessings to you both.
Thank you, and right back to you. Thank you, Lisa, and thank you for saying so. Thank you for sharing that. That's always lovely to hear. Good job. Very good. And Katrina, how are you today? I love that pink.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Lovely, yeah.
Right. So I was saying to what do you call it, Steve, that listening to Dr. Phil and the moral of the story was, he was saying to the person, you want to be self-reliant, you want to be self-sufficient, and you want to be self-sustaining. Mm-hmm. So as I was listening to this, I was really sad, because I was thinking, wow, my life would have been so much more different if I had had these three areas. So yeah.
Indeed. Okay. So that's great. That's very powerful. And you're not alone. I mean, I know that most of us, and especially those of us who've come to this knowledge, these techniques and things later in life, that's a natural thing. And I know when I first discovered the superpower, I was like, and changing childhood memories, there was that tendency to feel regret and imagine what my life would have been like if I'd had this earlier in my life. Why didn't I find it earlier? And I made the choice in the first place to be grateful for getting it now, because I may never have got it, or I may have got it even later. So at least I found it when I did. So at least I've got it now. But in addition to that, so what we want to end up with is there will be childhood references for regret, missing out, whatever that feeling is, that sadness of the idea of not being able to live your potential or have what you could have had, whatever's there will be childhood memories that need to be changed for that, because that's what's causing that. It's not the fact that you don't have it. It's not the fact that you've spent your life not having this. It's the fact that it means something. You know what I mean? So if you are living just right now, then you just start enjoying it now. There is nothing else but now. But the fact that you are regretting or feeling sad about it means your subconscious is referring to the fact that means something. The fact that you didn't have it all that time means something to you. So that's that's where we're aiming for. But in the meantime, we want to use this new technique of allowing, which is, I believe, what Steve was doing with you before we started recording, is that feeling of, so you didn't have it before. And so whatever emotion is there and whatever that meaning is, what if you just allowed it? Are you able to just allow it? Without needing to push it away, without needing to change.
Okay. I'm sort of off the horse at the moment in that I don't know which one to focus on.
That's okay. So tell me what's there that that you're trying to choose between what to focus on. What are the options?
Well, I just wrote this down, and that was a week ago, and I thought, well, what do I talk about today? And Steve, I got myself ready, and he pops on, and there he is, and what have you got? And here I am. I'm being caught up.
Okay, so let's look at this. So let's go back to you listening to Dr. Phil saying those things. Can you remember hearing that?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what's wrong with what he said? What is it that made you feel sad?
Can I make a suggestion before you go to the what's wrong with it? See if you can allow yourself to find that feeling inside. And I know that some people may have difficulty doing this part, because if we spend most of our time in our heads, we're not in tune with what it feels like to actually feel that feeling. So if you can imagine yourself hearing Dr. Phil, if you can imagine those words again, can you just be with whatever's going on, that feeling? And from the standpoint of observing it. So now you want to be that person that's like, okay, what's it feel like? How much space is it taking up in my body? What does it actually feel like? Can I feel it in my feet? Can I feel it in my hands? You just be with the experience of it. Are you able to do that?
Well, what the football thing of it is, I'm no longer self-reliant.
Good. Okay, good.
I'm no longer feeling secure in if I had to rely on me. You know what I mean? The whole thing. Yeah.
Good. So it's security. It's that feeling of not feeling secure.
Okay. Yeah.
And can you be with that? Can you be with that feeling for a moment? Allow it to be there, because is security something that that feeling of insecurity, is that something that you like having around you? Do you like that feeling of insecurity?
No, thank you.
So we're spending most of our time trying to push that away, right?
Okay.
So if you think about insecurity being one side of the coin, what's on the other side of the coin for you?
Well, safe and secure, feeling secure. Yeah. Feeling safe and feeling secure.
Right. And if you think about the fact that when you're pushing away the insecurity, you're pushing away its opposite as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So can you just allow it to be there? So allow that feeling. So just be there with whatever that feeling is. And if you could imagine it being, again, whether it's taking one step into, one step back from, but you want to step into that state of your superpower. You want to step into that observer mode and just observe the feeling. Can you imagine that insecurity in front of you right now? If it was like,
yeah, she's here.
Okay, good.
She's here.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So that insecurity, imagine it, treat it like you would a small, little, insecure child right now. Just allow it to be there, and you can begin to have that relationship. Let it know that you're not running away from it. What do you think that insecurity would be feeling right now? If it had feelings, if that insecurity in front of you had feelings, what would it be feeling?
She's saying I'm really scared.
Good. And what can you do? Ask it right now. What one thing could you do to help it feel a little bit better in the moment right now?
You're supposed to hug her, kiss her, love her. You know, it's like
Yes.
connect
Is that
with.
good? And can you imagine some way of doing that in your mind right now?
Yes. I'm just going to put her into my heart.
Yes. Perfect.
She wants to go.
Perfect.
Good. Now,
Okay.
can you allow yourself to be with that feeling, whatever that is right now? And you don't have to try to describe it or analyze it or anything, but can you just be with what that feels like right now, to have her in your heart right now? And allow
She
that.
feels calmer. Yeah.
Calm. Mhm.
Good.
Very good.
And then allowing that to unfold or transform or whatever on its own. So just allowing yourself to be with it without having to try to spend time analyzing it, just being with that feeling. And now imagining, if you can, they like if you threw a big rock in a pond, you'd have a big ripple going out.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine
Yeah.
sending that feeling back through your timeline. Send that same feeling, whatever it is, to the little you, to your mother, to your father, to your grandparents. Just imagine that echoing out through your past. Send that feeling to all of them.
Sending the love to them, you mean?
Whatever that feeling, that calm that you're experiencing right now, the opposite of that insecurity. Can you send that calm to your childhood?
Yes. Everybody saying thank you some more.
That's it.
So,
Yeah.
so it's imagining whatever that feeling is. It's like a bucket of that paint, and now you're adding that layer of paint, or that weave of that color of yarn. You're adding that to the tapestry. That calm was always there. That security was always there. So that's a starting point with that.
Okay.
Odile, thoughts
Right. Thank you.
that you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. Thank you very much, Steve. I think that's going to be really powerful for a lot of people watching this as well, to be able to use that, go through that step by step as you talk Katrina through it, to be able to address their own stuff. And then the next step, of course, Katrina, is to check your childhood for that feeling, the feeling of insecurity. So that now, is there anything left of that insecurity feeling? If so, change those childhood memories to the opposite, positive and empowering, and then come back. So let's test it. In fact, before you even look at the childhood, let's test this now with Dr. Phil, what Dr. Phil said. So remember him saying it, and what's there now? Any thoughts, any emotions, any feelings?
I'm just looking at it here a second.
Good, good.
So I'm sort of saying yes. Give me time, Dr. Phil.
Perfect. Very good. So that's really, really good. And then you want to practice it, of course, now. Practice what Steve took you through with that, the ripples. I love that idea of the ripples. So practice that and check your childhood. Make sure that feeling of security is in your childhood. If anything pops up, any memories pop up of insecurity, just change that, including your mom's childhood. If things pop up about her childhood, even if it's things that you don't know are real or not, it doesn't matter. Of course, address those, make sure it's the opposite, positive, empowering, allow those ripples to reach her childhood as well. Sound good?
Yes, this is absolute magic.
Yay! Good job. Thank you so much for sharing it. I know that it will be helpful to others as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katrina. All right, and then Swasti. Hi, Swasti. How are you today?
Hello, I am good, thank you.
Good.
So thank you for your work last week, at the end of last week. It was a bit rushed, but I didn't get time to say thank you. I was rushing everywhere. And also for that dopamine detox video. That was really good.
Good.
It was really empowering. I did it, not on a Sunday, but just on a random day. And it was, now I'm not addicted to YouTube, I guess.
Yay! Yay! Fantastic. Good job.
Thank you.
Excellent.
But something you said on Friday was like you've got to get rid of the expectation of like doing well, or expectation that this is going to happen for you. So I don't really know how to do that or how to go about that, because I feel like I can let it go externally but not internally, if that makes sense. So I can kind of fake it on the outside, but on the inside I still feel like no.
Yes, that makes perfect sense, because it's forming part of your survival system. So, with what I know about your childhood and your parents and all of that so far, I suspect that it's a key part of your survival system, and that's why using the conscious mind is not possible to override it, because that's like trying to get a fire alarm to switch off when you're saying there is no fire, and just telling the fire alarm that there is no fire. You have to go in and actually into the panel and switch it off. So, or recalibrate it so it goes off for a different, you recalibrate those, the trigger. So where we want to start with, so again, so what we're doing with the Remit method now, since Steve discovered this technique that doesn't have a name yet, we will give it a name eventually. We wanted to go there first because it seems to open the door, make it easier to change the childhood memories and be in that state of unconditional love as well. So let's start with the expectation of not doing well. I mean, the expectation of doing well and the disappointment of not doing well. So can you identify that right now? Can you feel it right now when you think about either not doing well, so you've got that disappointment, or the idea of being okay with not doing well, whatever's there?
Yeah, I've got the disappointment of not doing well.
Very good. All right. And so can you allow that feeling, that disappointment, to be there? So you haven't done well and you're disappointed. Can you allow it? Can you just allow it without trying to push it away or change it?
Yeah.
Very good. Because the opposite to that disappointment is, what's the other side of the coin for you?
Well, excitement from doing well.
All right, very good. So the disappointment of not doing well, as Steve was explaining, when you push that away, you're pushing away the other side of the coin as well. You're pushing away the excitement. So we don't want to do that. So now you're allowing that disappointment, and are you able to step back from it and allow it to be there in front of you?
Yeah.
Good job. Very good, Swasti. And now what is that disappointment feeling? If it was a separate entity for you, what would it be feeling or saying or thinking?
This is annoying.
This is annoying. Okay, so the disappointment is feeling that this is annoying.
Yeah.
Good. Very good. Now ask that disappointment if there's anything you can do to make it feel a little bit better.
Yeah, so keep doing what you're doing.
Keep doing what you're doing. Very good. And where would that disappointment like to live from now on?
On the shelf in the living room.
On the shelf in the living room, and it'll be happy there?
Yeah, it just wants to stay there.
Good, very good. So allow that disappointment to go and live on the shelf in the living room, and notice how happy it is sitting there on the shelf.
It's not happy, actually. It's the same, like, grey-black
Very
color.
good. Good job. So what can you ask it, what would make it happy?
Yeah, affection.
Affection. Perfect. Can you give it some affection?
Yeah, Okay, it's shell like busted, and now it's happy.
Perfect. There you go. There you go. So you can love that disappointment.
Okay, yeah, I can.
Good, good. So love it exactly as it is without needing it to change.
Yeah.
Good job, Swasti. And does it still want to live on the shelf, or does it want to live somewhere else?
Yeah, it's just happy on the shelf.
Happy on the shelf, okay. And so, but now it is happy there, right?
Yeah.
Good, very good. All right. So now let's come back to the exams, and I want you to imagine you don't do well. And what's there now? Thoughts, feelings, emotions?
Feel actually quite neutral.
Good. Very good. Good job. And so now let's clean up. Let's go. So now we want to address the security system. So let's go. I want you to check your childhood for anywhere where there was an expectation or a disappointment not doing well, or an expectation where you have to do well, or anybody saying anything. So anything in your childhood left that refers to that, that's supporting that feeling.
Yeah. So that's, well, what comes up now is just like a visual of my dad and showing, he might not have been there actually, but this is what's coming up, showing him results, and he's not happy.
Very good. All right, good job. And here's the piece that I want to add today. Here's the piece I want to add today, and that is that when you, considering that your parents left you in India, is it all right to carry on, by the way, because I know you've got...
Yeah, what do you need? Just one minute.
That's all right.
It's okay.
That's all right. All right. I didn't want to say stuff in case you didn't want it overheard.
Well, it's okay. She's just getting some.
Right. Okay. So when the fact that your parents left you in India to go to England, and you only joined them later, or they came to fetch you, whatever that is, your subconscious and then you take that piece, whatever that meant to your subconscious, and you combine it with the disapproval of the results you got when you didn't do well. You put those two pieces together, and that becomes your subconscious's idea of a life-threatening situation. So just putting it in very simplistic terms, if I do badly, I'm going to be abandoned again.
Okay.
And again, not the conscious mind, of course, but the subconscious can't use logical reason, and just takes experiences and makes basic sense of them. So that's why that's such a sticky point for you, because it's not just disappointing someone. It's not just not doing well. It's, I will be abandoned again. And as far as the subconscious is concerned, being abandoned means death.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so strong. So understanding that, it starts to be able to address it and let it go, right?
Yeah.
Good job. And so let's look at that idea of, so I want you to imagine, and if you don't have a memory of this year already, we're going to do this one as a stepping stone and then change the other memory. So I want you to create a memory, if you don't have one, of you getting minus something on a test, like really, really bad, in red, however it would look like, right?
Okay.
Okay. And I want you to imagine handing that to your dad. You've done like worse than anyone could ever imagine, the very, very worst. And what happens when you do that?
It's just like his frowned eyebrows. Okay. It's the same usual. It's like every single time, it's the same face.
Right.
Well, even if I did well, it's still the same face.
Yes, good. And so what does that frown mean to you?
Disappointment.
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 Good. And what does that feel like? when he's disappointed like that and he gives that frown?
Well, I feel frustrated.
You feel frustrated?
Yeah, as well.
Good, very good. And what's frustrating about it?
I will, like sometimes I will try my hardest, but that's not enough.
Yes, very good. And so trying your hardest, it didn't matter because your parents still left.
Yeah.
Right. Very good.
Okay.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then that becomes the theme. So and the pattern. So let's go to your parents leaving you in India, and anything left of that. I know you've changed a lot, but is anything come up still from the old experience, from the original experiences?
Not really. What comes up are the new ones.
New one.
A lot of segments of them.
Good job, very good. And can you pick one moment that can represent the new meaning or the new memories? Just one moment that goes, that means everything was fantastic.
Yeah. So him coming with a suitcase, and then we all go together.
Very, very
like a big teddy in his hand, and it's all happy and pink and sparkling.
perfect. Perfect. I want you over the next 24 hours to prioritize that particular moment.
Okay.
Touchstone. So use it as a touchstone. So throughout your day, throughout the rest of today, and then tomorrow until this call, I want you to keep replaying that moment. And you can put a post-it note up for yourself or alarms on your phone, whatever will remind you.
Mm-hmm.
And just keep replaying. Make that your top priority out of everything. Okay?
Okay. So just that particular.
Just that one moment. So that's number one. Then the second thing is the memory of now you're handing your dad that test or whatever it is, report with a negative, and it's red and whatever the comment would be from the teacher. And let's have a look at your dad's face again. Is it still the same? And it may be, that's okay.
Yeah, it's still the same.
Still the same, very good. So let's go to your dad's childhood, and I want you to tell me what's there for your dad with tests or disappointment or achieving or expectations.
Well, I think it's another piece has come up now where his dad is not happy with him.
That's it. Very good. And
Okay.
so when you think of his dad, is that still the case? You haven't changed that yet?
No, I think another piece came because I had changed a bit of it.
Okay, that's perfect. So now that will be the next thing to do, is change that so that his dad always, so you can do, he hands his dad or whatever is there already, change it to the opposite and positive and empowering. But the way you want to do that is a stepping stone where he did not do well, but his dad loves him anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and his dad is like, oh, that's okay, don't worry about it. He's very relaxed, and they go and celebrate in some way just for existing, something like that. And he's affectionate, so he gives your dad, the little dad, a hug. And, you know, he's very, very compassionate, kind, loving, affectionate, all of that. Okay?
Okay.
Sound good? And
yeah.
then you want to come back, and then you want to change. So that's a stepping stone. Final memory is every time he hands over the things, it's always good. Okay. But that expectation one is very important to change first, to establish first.
So should I do my one first or my dad's one?
Your dad's one first, because that's the original reference that is supporting and informing yours.
Okay.
All right. And then once you've done your dad's one, then you come to your one. Mm-hmm. And then his face should have changed already. And if it hasn't, that's okay. Just keep doing the same process. And again, you want the same thing for you, where you hand over a disappointing result and make it really bad. And so that it's really clear that it doesn't matter and he loves you anyway. So create the same type of memory that you did with him and his dad. So he's affectionate, he's loving, he's kind, he's compassionate, because he's treating you the way he was treated. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense. And then finally, you hand over the, the wonderful ones, or you don't, it doesn't matter. So you know how his response right now is always the same,
Mm-hmm.
the frown, whether you did badly or well.
Yeah.
You wanted that, and his response is always the same, whether you did badly or well, but it's loving, it's kind, it's supportive, it's enthusiastic.
Okay, so it's like one like visual represents every single time.
Right. And
Mhm.
that creates the consistency, the
Yeah.
security. He will always love you, whether you do well or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
And then just check the India one as well. Just keep making sure that that is still, keep using that touchstone in between.
Okay.
All right, so you're linking all of that. So what you're doing is you're linking the
okay.
original thing with the teddy bear and everything with these new memories.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Good, very, very good. All right, so that's your over the next 24 hours assignment.
Okay.
How's that feel to do that? Is that
Yes.
good? Very, very good. Well done. And do you have anything else to ask?
No, that's my main thing that's coming up again and again.
Good job. And then you can also keep reminding yourself. So whenever you do feel the disappointment or the fear of the disappointment or anything like that, keep reminding yourself that the disappointment is very happy living on the shelf right now.
Yeah. Okay. I will do that. Okay.
Good job, Swasti. Thank you.
Thank you.
That. You're very welcome. All right. And anything from the chat, Steve, or?
Nope. I think that we just got some comments. The one thing that, as I was listening to you doing the work with Swasti, I think, and it's just kind of an intuitive thing that I'm sensing, that the insecurity that she's dealing with, or that disappointment that she's dealing with is, of course, what she's experiencing with her father. But I really feel like it is, the majority of it is coming from his childhood.
Yes.
That little, so if you can see the disappointment embodied as your father as a little child.
Nice.
So when you see that, when you feel that disappointment, when you see his face, and that whatever that feeling is representing, if you can turn him into, or if you can imagine that adult expression is really just his coping technique of dealing with his father, of dealing with that disappointment. So the only coping technique that he has available to him is that expression.
Yes.
And if you can just see, if you can go in, we use the word pre-pave, but if you can imagine, the interaction, whatever interaction that I'm having with my dad, and that face or that feeling is there, if you can see him as being the little 5-year-old or whatever, the little 4-year-old who just doesn't know what to do, and he's experiencing that same disappointment from his father. So it's another way to approach that, and to feel like you're stepping into your power with that, as opposed to allowing the power to, and as opposed to allowing the disappointment and whatever is going on to have power over you.
Okay, so is this like an external way of dealing with it? So
yeah, it's another way of, so if you have to, if you're going to go have a conversation with your dad and you're anticipating that expression is going to be there again, imagine him as a little 5-year-old or whatever age you have in your own, and he's that same little child trying to deal with that same feeling of disappointment. He's just doing the best that he can in the moment, and that's all he knows how to do. That's his only coping technique.
Yeah,
Is that it?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. And thank you, Steve, for that. And if time, do you want to revisit the discussion you had with Katrina last week about clothing? I'm going to unmute you because I'm not sure which which part of that? What would you like to know, Chris?
Thank you. It wasn't, I mean, the whole discussion triggered a big memory in me. So, and I'm not, I've let it rest in my mind. I've been living with it over the few days. But so she described this sense of, well, who has right over what I wear? Because she then chose to wear leggings to go to school. So,
oh yes,
when we were children, yeah, that one.
Yes,
when I was a child, okay, we had to wear 5 items of clothing. There was something called a Liberty bodice. Mm-hmm. Then you had a vest on top. Mm-hmm. And then you'd have a petticoat on top. Mm-hmm. Then you'd wear something like a shirt, blouse, or jumper, and well, the shirt or blouse. And then you'd have a cardigan on top. That's 5. Mm-hmm. And it really made it, when I was listening to Katrina, I think, you know what? Oh, the control. Sorry,
that's all right.
It just clearly produced a big response. And I know over the years it's come up, and I just thought, oh, of course, it was all about control, or it made me feel this claustrophobia.
Yes.
But I hadn't gone much further with it. But I just wonder where I would take that, or where you might take it for me.
Very good. So thank you for bringing that up. So of course, the end result we want to aim at is that you wear whatever you want, right? So as a child, so all of those layers you've just talked about, you never had to wear any of those. All right. So that's the end result we're aiming for. Now, what you could do just for fun is you could make it that those layers were the layers you used to dress your dollies in. So you had a doll and you used to dress the dolls in all those layers because it was fun, but you never had to wear any of them. Yeah. So that's the end result. And you wear whatever you want, right? So you could decide, I'm going to wear this one day, I'm going to wear that another day. So similar to the one with Katrina, and you can rewatch that recording and follow along with it so that it was, you can change it to, the opposite, positive and empowering. And then in addition to that, let's just quickly do that. I know we're running out of time, so maybe I'll just let this and then you can do it later. But it's that feeling of, what is the feeling of having to wear all of those things? So like you said, it's the controlling thing, or if there's anything else, and then do that exercise of Steve's where you just allow that feeling. Yes. So it's controlling, allow controlling. And what's the opposite? What's the other side of the coin? So this side is controlling. What's the other side? What's the opposite of that? So you don't want to push away the controlling because you'll push away the opposite as well. Yeah. So allow the controlling, and then same thing, step back from it, ask it what it needs. What would you like? What, that whole process, and you can go through it from earlier. I mean, watch the recording from earlier, follow along with it and change that. And then change the memory to the opposite, positive and empowering, so that you would wear whatever you wanted. And if you want to add that thing of dressing your dolls, then you can do that. How does that sound?
Good. Perfect.
Yeah. Very, very good. Good job, Chris, and thank you for bringing that. All right. So Steve, can you send me the targets? Thank you. And let's go into superpower state. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. Go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. Very good. And allow your heart to start opening. Feel that expansion feeling in your chest. Allowing that light to shine. And allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. And then allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing, exactly as they are. Very, very good. And then allow that light, that energy to fill your subject. Love all of the things you love about them and appreciate about them. And then allow yourself to imagine that subject doesn't have the qualities that you love and admire about them, and keep them filled with that light, that energy anyway. Love them anyway, no matter what, shining that light. Very good. And now let's go to Chris. Fill Chris with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Chris, just for existing. Very good. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Chris and fill those who are close to her with that same light, that energy, that love, no matter what. No matter what they do or say or experience, fill them with that light, that energy anyway, exactly as they are, without needing them to change, shining that light into any darkness, exactly as they are. Very good. And allow that light, that energy to fill the part of Chris that is having a challenge using her superpower to change her own experience of others. Whatever that is, whatever that part of her is, whatever the references are, love it all exactly as it is without needing it to change, shining that light and filling all the darkness with this bright, beautiful light and love with no expectations. Feeling that power, the power of being able to do that, just as it is. And when you can't do it, love the fact that you can't do it. Very, very good. And now to Lisa. Fill Lisa with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa, just for existing. Very, very good. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Lisa and fill her whole life, everyone, everything in it, every experience, every circumstance, every person. Loving it all exactly as it is, shining that light into any darkness. Good job. And now to Katrina. Fill Katrina with that light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Katrina, just for existing. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Katrina and fill any insecurity, any lack of safety, any feelings of not being safe and secure. Love all of that exactly as it is, shining that light into any darkness. Very good. And now to Swasti. Fill Swasti with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Swasti, just for existing. Very good job. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Swasti and fill her dad and his dad, from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips. Love Swasti's dad and his dad just for existing, no matter what. And love those frowns. Imagine Swasti's dad and his dad frowning, and love the frowns exactly as they are, shining that light into any darkness. All the expectations, all the disappointments, shine that light into it all, loving it all exactly as it is without needing it to change. And noticing how powerful that feels. Very good. And now to Caro. Fill Caro with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Caro just for existing. Good job. And now allow that light, that energy to overflow from Caro and fill her cat, who's sick at the moment. Fill Caro's cat from the tip of her tail to the tips of her paws, to the tips of her ears and the tip of her nose. Love Caro's cat just for existing and exactly as she is, whether she's stressed or not, whether she's sick or not. Love her exactly as she is. And love the stress exactly as it is without needing it to change, shining that light into any darkness, feeling the power of the unconditional part of the superpower. Very good. And now to everyone who's off camera and those who are watching the recording, fill each one with that same light, that energy. Love each one just for existing, no matter what. Good job. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from each one and fill their whole lives, everything, everyone, every experience, every event, every circumstance with the same light, this energy, this love, exactly as it is and without needing it to change. Shining this light into any darkness. Very good. And feel that love coming back to you. Feel that two-way flow of this unconditional love between you and everyone else. Good job. Now think of yourself later today and send that love, that light, that energy to that version of you. Whatever you'll be doing, whatever you'll be experiencing, whatever you'll be feeling, love that version of you exactly as you are, without any expectations, without needing anything specific. Love that version of you. Fill that version of you with this light, this energy, this power, exactly as you are. And now pick one target, a target in your life or a target in the world that triggers you, and fill that target with that same light, that energy, exactly as it is and without needing it to change, shining this light into any darkness, loving it exactly as it is. And surge. Very good. And surge again. Good job. All right, you can open your eyes. And any questions or comments before we finish? Of course, we'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. You're very, very welcome. I'm so glad. I'm so happy for you. Good job. And yeah, same time, same place tomorrow. Keep practicing. Keep filling yourself with that love, and lots of love to all of you. Back to you. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. See you tomorrow.